is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into Mornings on Main Street this November 12th, 2021, which is a reminder, I got to pay my Capital One bill today, so let me put a note down for that. Welcome in, everybody. It's Friday. It's a football Friday, the second round of the high school football playoffs. Lebanon is playing tonight. We'll show our love for our coach Chuck Gentry and the Blue Devils tonight as they take on Riverdale. So a fun night of high school football. Later in the show, Tyler Palmatier from Main Street Preps is going to join us, and we'll talk all things high school football as we get ready for tonight. Fun show on tap for today. A lot of good information, a lot of positivity we're going to be sharing this morning. We got a great guy come on at 7:10, a guy named Trent Deason. We'll talk about what he's doing, how he's spreading the positivity around Middle Tennessee and around the world, too. It's a really cool thing. 7:20 this morning, a brand new Italian restaurant is opening in downtown Nashville tonight, and I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview of what's going to be happening. Now, the chef is an acclaimed, world-renowned chef named Andrew Carminelli. He's got restaurants all over the world, and one of his partners, not in this restaurant in Nashville, but one of his partners in restaurants in New York City is Robert De Niro. So it's really cool, fun story. 7:30, a cool exhibit happening at Opry Mills called the Sistine Chapel, the exhibition. And what you're going to see there is a Sistine Chapel recreated in a really cool and unique way that you can see at Opry Mills. I went last night, and it's simply fantastic. So you will see that a little bit later on when we do this at 7:30. Of course, Tyler Palmatier joins us at 7:40. As we do this time every morning, let's bring in the intern. Intern, good morning to you.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
What were you doing?
Oh, just run into the computer.
Okay, good. You kind of, I was like, where are you, man? Are you going to be there? How are you, man? Big weekend planned?
Yeah, watch the Tennessee sports. Big weekend for them. So going to be watching closely.
My camera. How are we looking? We looking all right with the camera there?
Yeah.
A little better?
A little bit, yeah.
I go this way? I go that way? There
Perfect.
we go. I'm not good with directions there. So no big weekend plan for you?
That's pretty big for me, I'm going to eat some good food and watch some good sports.
All right, you're going to go to what's the UT game on Saturday, right?
I'm not going, but yeah, I'm going to watch it. My sister is a recent Georgia fan because she married a Georgia fan.
Right.
So that's going to be fun. I'm going to just talk trash to her the whole weekend.
Did you see what UT's wearing tomorrow?
I did not get the wardrobe check. What are they rocking?
They're wearing the black jerseys.
Ooh.
The black jerseys. All right, let's get you started this morning as we ever do with the headlines from the fine folks over at Main Street Nashville, November 12, 2021. Great story on the front page here by the Fisk Jubilee Singers celebrate their history. And you know what? If you want to know what angels sound like singing, boom. There you go. The Fisk Jubilee Singers last night with a special concert at the Ryman. Really cool. Nice story there by Josh Ewers on how they are still going strong 150 years. Amazing. And we're so grateful they're part of our city. Right next to it, another story which a lot of people are going like, legislation filed to end vehicle emissions testing in Nashville. Now, intern, you live in Wilson County. You don't have to deal with this. But for me and all my friends, this is welcome news. Vivian Jones with the story this morning. After months of hour-long lines, it used to be when you go at the end of the month to get your emissions checked and everything else, you go last 3 or 4 days, you'd wait forever. But if you went like the first of the month, it was fine. You'd get in and out in no time at all. But now, anytime you go, it's packed. So an article by Vivian talked about that, and I actually went to school with Metro Councilmember Kevin Roden. I'll vote for him now just because of this right here. the legislation to end vehicle emissions testing all in Nashville. Okay, intern, this story here caught me out of surprise this morning when I'm reading this. The I-40 bridge in Memphis, the crack likely dates back to 1970s. So for about 40, 50 years, a crack in that steel beam has been there for so long.
Wait, did someone notice it? Like no one noticed it till now?
They were doing like a monthly inspection check or something. And then they saw it and like, oh my gosh, the girder's cracked and we got to stop everything down. And it says a forensic investigation by an outside firm hired by the department. And they said the crack occurred in a weld between two plates during the bridge's fabrication. Now, when I hear fabrication, I'm thinking that somebody's lying to me, but this is different. And it's see it right there, and there's the crack, and it's up. And I hate heights, so this picture scares me because underneath there is the river.
The guy who welded it is seeing this article come out, and he's like, no way, they're just now finding that.
Oh, is he still alive? I mean, this was 50 years ago. So I don't understand that. Also intern today, and I know Papa interns from San Francisco, it is the Golden Gate Bridge opened this day in 1936. Have you been to the Golden Gate Bridge?
I have, yeah. We went there for a family vacation, and I have seen it. Very tall bridge.
Very tall. It's eerie, man. It
is.
It's a powerful force, that bridge is. It's just, I walked back and forth on it. And it's really cool. And I don't know. I was speechless doing that whole thing. A nice, cool story about Ashley Perham, new children's memory garden to break ground on Saturday. It's going to be at Centennial Park. That's going on this Saturday. Let me find the time for you. That's happening. And it's going to happen on Saturday. I'm not sure it's going to find the time, but it's in the article, I'm sure, somewhere. But just another great story here in Middle Tennessee. And Ashley always does a great job of doing that. So that story as well. All right, intern, I know you went to bed last night, but we have to talk about Nashville's hockey team. They're on the road, and when they go on the road, a lot of people forget what's happening with them. And look at this. Last night, they won. Matt Duchene scores. All right, intern, we're going to try to do this if we can. We're going to try to play the game winner from Matt Duchene scoring the game winner. They beat the top team in the conference last night, the St. Louis Blues. So we'll pull over this part here and see. Let me share the screen there, intern. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Okay, look at this. If I could pull this off here, I am going to ask for yet another raise. Okay, you ready? Here we go. This is Matt Duchene last night with the game winner.
Get some reinforcements in there. Yossi comes back on. Granlund sees a way to attack. He's got Duchene. Over to Duchene. He scores! The Nashville Predators have won in overtime. The second game-winning goal in OT on this road trip from Matt Duchene. Comes on the ice.
Oh, that's fantastic. I did it, intern.
Good job, man. That's great.
I did just as good as Matt Duchene did last night. So congratulations to the Nashville Predators for getting the job done. They win 4-3. They're back home Saturday. So go see them at Bridgestone. And before we get out of intern, I got to give praise to you. We have a podcast that we do here. It's called the Official 615 Podcast. Intern, and really, thank you. You've worked nonstop on making this happen and getting it on all the platforms. And I'm going to see if I can share the screen once again here. So thank you for your work, for doing everything with the podcast.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Vicky Yates, who was our guest this week, she was a peach. She was amazing. So
yeah, she's fantastic. And there it is. Just go to mainstreetmediatn.com, drop down about halfway through. You'll see the podcast. We have one with the great Vicky Yates from News Channel 5. Her backstory is simply amazing. And she drops a little hint about some big news coming in the future. So just go there, listen to the podcast, download it. She's fantastic. We've done 4 of these so far. We've Alan Frio and Rudy Kalis. We had Butch Spearden for the Metro, from the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau joins us. So it's really cool behind the scenes stuff. And Vicky was fantastic. So thank you, Vicky, for everything. And you'll love to listen. It's a quick 35 minutes, but it's a lot of fun, a lot of information that you can gather there. And intern, thank you again, seriously, for putting all the hard work and making that happen.
Of course, man. It's a pleasure, and I appreciate the kind words.
You bet, buddy. All right, let's take a break now. On the other side, it's a positive Friday, and we're going to tell you why, and you'll hear why. That's coming up next. You're watching Mornings on Main Street.
Dental coverage may be a small investment, but it has big benefits. Because dental coverage and preventive oral care leads to more than a healthier smile. It leads to a healthier life overall. Delta Dental makes it easy to get the care you need. With the nation's largest network, you're more likely to find or keep a dentist you love. And with comprehensive coverage and additional discounts, you'll have benefits you love too. Make a lasting investment in your oral and overall health with coverage from Delta Dental. Visit deltadentaltn.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Ryan. I'm the co-owner of Zaxby's along with Lee Oliver. This is a place that mamas and daddies can be really comfortable to send their kids to for a first job. It's a place that you can have fun, feel really good about the place that you work, get paid well, have a good time. If you want to apply, you can go to applynow.com and Zaxby's will be on there. We love it when we get some great folks here at Zaxby's.
I was going through a really hard time in my life. I was missing 12 teeth. I would cover my mouth. Mentally, it was so draining to have to constantly worry about who's gonna see it, because your first impression in somebody is their smile.
Delta Dental of Tennessee and the Smile 180 Foundation, transforming lives and communities one smile at a time.
My smile gives me my voice. My smile gives me my passion. My smile gives me my drive. My smile gives me everything.
All right, welcome back to Mornings on Main Street on this beautiful Friday, November the 12th, 2021. Welcome in, everybody. All right, so our next guest, I got in an email, and first thing that popped out was positivity. And as you know, watching this show, we're all about the positivity, and we're going to explain why. Let's bring in Trent Deason. He's got a website called spreadthepositive.net. Trent, thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Pumped to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so tell me the genesis of what you were doing and Spread the Positive.
Yeah, so Spread the Positive is about 10 years in the making. Just been working on the evolution of the concept and the company over the years, but basically just trying to bring light to what's going right. We get enough of what's not working. We get enough of the divisiveness. Everything's wrong, dramas, trauma, scandals, all the bad stuff. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always kind of had a beef with the news cycle and just how we get so much of what's not working. And since I can remember, I always wanted to provide any type of counter to that. So that's the tagline with Spread the Positive, bringing light to what's going right. And we like to showcase and facilitate efforts that are making a positive impact, like you do yourself, Joe. So like minds, man, I appreciate the opportunity to share about it.
No problem. And I've written about this too. When I was in my other life, when a boss asked me what my plan was for covering all the pandemic and COVID stories, and my thing was, I want to go out and find restaurants and people who are coming together and uniting and the positivity. He looked at me, Trent, and said, "You know what? That sounds good, but nobody cares."
Man.
And I was shocked that a person in news management was that ignorant.
Actually, yeah, I'm not surprised by that, but
right.
Hey, there's plenty of us to go around to prove that wrong. So I'm proud to be part of the solution in that regard.
Just tell us how Spread the Positive works.
Yeah, so we're a content creation company. I started the Spread the Positive podcast back in January of 2018. Had no clue what I was doing. Just kind of figured it out as I was going. And over the years, more people asked if I could help them start a podcast. Didn't have a great answer for them until about 10 months ago. I switched platforms for my podcast and just found a different platform that makes the hosting and distribution and creating shows and having multiple, distribution points. It just made everything a lot easier. So I went back to some of those people that were asking me to help them with their show. And long story short, we're working with about 25 people now, just crossed 60,000 downloads on the platform. So definitely growing our listenership, and all the shows kind of have an STP type message and alignment. There's a lot of that's kind of one of the things I've struggled with over the years is just positive can be such a subjective term, but you know, there's a lot of positivity in a lot of different things. So we got, you know, body positivity with my friend Danny D, Love Your Body podcast, you know, just Get Happy podcast, Live, Grow, Do with Don Day, just a lot of inspirational, uplifting, not pie in the sky foo-foo stuff. It's like relatable, tangible, practical. You can implement it into your life really easily. And, you know, just good stuff to consume versus, like I said, what we get so much of.
Yeah, what a great! I'm kicking myself. I should have started this about a place where people can go to do this. Trent, I like this. It says there's just one catch, and this is so powerful. Spread the positive only works when you take action. A lot of us sit back and like, oh, I wish I'd have done this and that. But when we take action and we make it happen, change happens.
That's it. That's exactly it. You know, spread the positive. That's a verb, you know, that takes action. One of my earliest concepts with spread the positive was kind of another life is good type branding and clothing line. And instead of just sitting back saying life is good, I'd like, let's be out there proactively spreading the positive, looking for opportunities, you know, like Mr. Rogers said, be part of when you're down and out, look for the helpers and go be part of that. So I've just kind of always, been community oriented and, you know, trying to keep the bigger picture in mind. Like what does any of this really matter if you're not spreading the positive? That's kind of been my motto for a long time.
Hey, and kudos to the website. The website's perfect. I mean,
thank you.
I can't tell you how many times I'll see a website and I don't know where I'm going, but this is so defined and so nice and so clean and so well done. I know exactly what's happening. And so that's a big part because people are going to see your website. And that's the first kind of image they get of you guys is how the website is. And this is well done, Trent.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Gotta give a shout out to a few people on that. Dean Heasley with Borough Business Labs and Troy C with Legacy Inc. He's helped me a lot with the website over the years, both of those guys.
So when we fast forward a year from now, what do you hope happens in the next year? What would you love to see happen in the next year?
So the whole model that this podcast distribution thing is turning into is really similar to a radio station type model. So radio, and honestly, this stuff you're doing with this stream is kind of goals. I was just watching this kind of in awe. I'm like, man, this is really kind of, I don't want to steal your style, but this is kind of what we're going for. Just having a consistent content, you know, hosting our people in studio. I'm actually in our studio here in Murfreesboro, and you know, just continuing to build out shows. We have a mobile recording aspect to the business as well, where we can bring I always say we can bring a radio station to your conference room, to your you know, to your office, to your house. We've done it on a boat, we've done it in closets. Like we've recorded podcasts everywhere. So we got the aspect where we can come to you, you can come to us, or you can just send us files and we can polish them up and distribute them on the platform. So the goal is to, you know, I mean, 50 plus shows. We're at about 25 right now. Just, you know, just keep building, keep finding the right folks to be underwriters and advertisers, and kind of, like I said, trying to get to that next step with the radio station type model and filling ad spots and all the stuff that I'm sure you're super familiar with, Joe.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's definitely the goal. Just building out, you know, just continuing to build the platform, help people tell their stories, get their shows out there. We're working with a bunch of nonprofits, so a lot of our stuff can kind of be a tax write-off. And just another thing, we're trying to push, you know, it's not your typical ad spend when you work with us. It might not be your typical ROI and traceable, you know, tactical, practical numbers and all that. But when you work with us, just know that it's going to be impactful. Like when you cut a check to spread the positive, it's helping Endure Athletics. They serve the homeless youth population out here in Murfreesboro through sports and after school programming. Beautiful Strength is on a national level. My friend Annette, based in Nashville, she built out a school bus pretty much by herself. Obviously had some help, but she's traveling the country. She's a photographer by trade, so she's in her school bus, Atticus the bus, and just going around doing photo shoots and telling people's story. And we distribute the podcast for her. My friend Shannon Rizzo, she has the Boundless Foundation where she's building schools in Honduras. So kind of got the hyper local, national, and international reach already with our shows. So it's pretty cool, man. Just trying to continue to find those opportunities. We're helping some like a couple of foster care organizations get their message out. So just have a lot of really cool, positive PR opportunities for individuals, companies, nonprofits, organizations, pretty much anybody that wants to get their message out there. We can and just put a positive spin on it. So like I said, we're kind of making people compete on impact versus your typical ad spin.
Love it, man. I love it.
Yeah,
Spreadthepositive.net, the website, all information. Trent, keep fighting the good fight, man. We're all in this together. So thank you for your passion and for what you're doing. And it's making a difference, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to connecting with you, Joe. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, Trent Deason, spreadthepositive.net. We're all about positive, good stories and lifting people up. As they say, a rising tide raises all ships, and that's what we're doing here. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and tell you about a cool restaurant that's opening tonight. We'll give you kind of a sneak peek and talk to the acclaimed chef. That's next. We're all watching Mornings on Main Street.
While federal coverage is really important, often I really think that a lot of the decisions that are going to impact you most are made at the local level. Like where's the stop sign's going to go, what's your speed limit going to be, how much you're going to pay in property taxes, we talked about that a lot, and how much funding the schools are going to get, zoning decisions that are going to impact which developers can come in and change the neighborhoods and grow the city. And all those decisions are going to be made at the local level.
All right, one thing we all love Italian food. So tonight there's a restaurant opening in the Gulch in downtown Nashville with acclaimed chef Andrew Carmelini called Carne Mara, and it is simply fantastic. And the world-renowned chef gave me a kind of a behind-the-scenes tour of what's going on, and just listen to his passion about Italian food and making sure it's perfect. He's really cool, and here's our story.
Well, I mean, it's a very human business, the restaurant business, right? It's customers, number one. It's employees, number two. It's purveyors, number three. And at the end, it's us. Right. So it's really like you have to bring that all together. And it's not like making a song, like Nashville's a music town, right? You go to the studio, you get a producer, you work on a song forever. It's done when you're done. You can spend a month on it, get it EQ'd perfectly, and it's done. You can listen to it 50 years later. It's the same. Restaurants change. Every table changes. Every dish changes, the fish changes, the weather changes, and so it's very dynamic that way.
I heard somebody describe the opening of a restaurant like a Game 7 of a World Series. You need to be almost perfect. Does that make sense?
I think it's more like your whole season leading up to the World Series, right? Because again, zero people on earth are perfect the first day. I've worked in 3-star Michelin restaurants in Europe. I've ran 4-star restaurants in New York. Awards, blah, 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 blah. Like restaurants, like Table 32 can be having the time of their life. Yeah. And Table 31 can hate your guts. and it really doesn't matter how much you spend. It doesn't matter how much you're paying. Doesn't matter. They're very dynamic. Is what I was saying before.
Well, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, very much.
So how much stock do you put into an opening night? I know you want to be as close perfect as you can, but like you said, mistakes happen.
Yeah, mistakes happen. And like I give a big speech, especially at the front of the house. I was like, it's not so much where you put the fork, it's how you make people feel. It's a little bit different in the kitchen because it really is about the steak's medium rare or not, or like the pasta's cooked perfectly. But it's just more how, you can cover mistakes, right?
Right.
But and also I still tell the staff, it's not like we're doctors, right? You know, it's not like if you make a mistake, the guy on the table is going to die, right? It's like you make a mistake, you can fix it. You can fix it with just adjusting whatever. You can buy someone a drink. You can always adjust, right? And so we just have to make people feel good. That's what we do. I think we're good at it, and we hope to do it in Nashville.
Is there more pressure opening an Italian restaurant than any other type of restaurant? Because everybody loves Italian food.
Well, as the foremost expert on Italian food in the world, you know, it's very, very comfortable for me to do, Italian food. I lived in Italy for 2.5 years. I cooked with some of the best chefs. I'm also American, right? So I have some Italian-American kind of influence on that.
Nice.
So I bring that all together. So yeah, but Italian food is a little bit like your pizza shop, right? Most people have a lot of opinions on pizza because it's the pizza they grew up with that they have the most love for, or that little corner pizza shop.
Right.
But it's not necessarily the best pizza in the world, but it's what they got love for. So I try to think about that when I put the Italian, especially with Italian food in America.
Is Italian chop house a new slang? Because I've never heard that before, but I'm also not an expert like you are.
Well, there are no steakhouses in Italy. It doesn't exist. Steakhouse it's an American thing. It's a British thing also, but it's really an American thing, and we do it better than anybody. Like a steak in Italy is really only around Tuscany, a little bit in Emilia-Romagna, and that's like something you'd have on on a different menu. You know, you'd have that in a trattoria, you'd have that in Osteria, and you see a bistecca, al legno, a bistecca burdue, but that's about it. You never have like a sole restaurant just like only dedicated to that thing. So it's kind of like combining the two things. And I think, I've been studying the steakhouse thing for a long time, and I'm talking to like a lot of like steakhouse people. There's a lot of people in my life that like never go to steakhouses, and then I have a couple brother-in-laws. That's the only thing they go out for, right? So I've been talking to them a lot. Like there's certain things that people like expect, they want. There's certain things you're going to get out of it, and so we just kind of like put that together with my Italian background, and we think we got a hit here.
Opening a restaurant coming off a pandemic, with the work shortage and all of that,
sure.
I got to think it's not easy to put this together, but you seem to be doing it quite well.
Restaurants before this is a newsflash, restaurants before the pandemic were never really easy. I always say that there's a lot of easier ways to make money in life, right?
Right.
I don't know what they're doing now. They're selling crypto, they're doing whatever, with all these different schemes. Like, I kind of do this because I love it. I like to make people happy. I think that the work shortage thing is interesting, right? Because in the 70s and 80s, like there weren't a lot of restaurants.
Correct.
And it really wasn't a career that you went into if you were like American. No one. When I graduated high school and I told people I was going to go be a chef, I might as well say I was going to go be a priest, or I was going to go start a motorcycle gang. I'm not sure.
Right.
It wasn't like it wasn't on TV. It wasn't that thing. And I think there was a 10-year period where there were chefs on TV. There was media. It became this thing. There was a lot of like people thought, oh, I can go be a chef. I can go do. It's a blue collar job.
Yeah.
You work with your hands. You work with people. It is what that job's not going to change. And COVID, I think, kind of like scrubbed a lot of people that maybe thought that they would be on TV, or that life was just one big TV Food Network show. And it's not. It's like, to be good at it, you have to really apply yourself. You have to love serving people. You have to love working with people. You have to love the perfection of cooking, or at least the pursuit of the perfection of cooking, right? And it's not easy, but there's a lot of things that are not easy.
If it was easy, I'd be back there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You don't want me back there. Trust me, you don't want me back there at all. Opening night is Friday. Will you take a moment to take a deep breath and look around the restaurant, or will you be so busy you can't?
No, it's really, you have to be, a good chef is always big picture, so you can get laser focus in on something when it's important to focus in on something, and then you kind of got to pull out and look at the big picture. I played basketball my whole life, and at 50, I'm not as good as I used to be, but you got to have court vision. You got to have court vision.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chef. What a great place. He actually served me caviar on mozzarella sticks. He had me at mozzarella sticks. I've never had caviar before. Man, I was living the high life that day. All right, so one of the programs that we were spotlighting the rest of the year is Nobody Trashes Tennessee, in conjunction with TDOT and everybody else. Make sure our highways are clean. Here's a story from a few days ago about Nobody Trashes Tennessee.
I look at it as building relationships. I've got, my phone has got the phone number of every head football coach, every basketball coach, every baseball coach, every softball coach, every athletic director in Wilson County in it. If something ever happens to me, that phone's going to be a pretty good commodity for somebody. And I've known these people. I grew up in Wilson County. I went to Lebanon High School. I went to Cumberland when it was a junior college. I am now covering even some grandchildren of guys I went to school with.
Donaldson Hermitage Chamber of Commerce invites you to our second annual holiday market at the Mansion, presented by Gaylord Opryland's A Country Christmas at the historic Two Rivers Mansion on McGavick Pike in Donaldson. November 19th and 20th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can shop over 50 unique vendors. Get your gifts wrapped. Get a photo with Santa. Pick up some fabulous grub at the fantastic food trucks while listening to music. Oh, and you can pick out a Christmas tree. All before Black Friday and all while shopping local. Don't miss it.
All right, welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. There's a great exhibit that's opening today at Opry Mills. We're running through like January the 4th or 5th. Anyway, it opens today. It is the Sistine Chapel, the exhibition. And if you've never been to the Sistine Chapel, well, they're bringing it to you, and it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. So we got a kind of behind-the-scenes tour last night of what's going to be happening over there. And if you've ever wanted to go to the Sistine Chapel over in Italy, all you got to do is go to Opry Mills in Donaldson, and you will see it. Here's our story from last night.
This is Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, the exhibition, and how this all came about is our CEO, Martin Bialis, about 10 years ago. He did a visit to the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican in Rome. And I don't know if you've been there, but if you have, they kind of push you through in about 15 minutes. You can't take any photos whatsoever. And the other thing is you don't really get it. You look up and you think, well, it's beautiful, but who are those people? Why are they up there, you know? And so what he decided, since he's in the exhibit business, is why not put this on canvas, high-resolution photography, and then make it look like a fresco, just like it was painted on the plaster that Michelangelo did up there for 5 years. And so that's what we've done. And so people can see all these images up close. And what's amazing is we have an audio guide that you can get, or you can read the signage right by the frescoes. And what that does is it tells you who these people are in history and what significance they played and why Michelangelo and the Pope chose these particular subjects to paint.
I think I've spent the first 5 minutes just in stunned silence. Is that a normal reaction?
Yes, it is. Everybody just comes in because you know what's so wonderful is when you see this up close, you see every brush stroke that he did, and you know what's funny is Michelangelo, he told the Pope he didn't want to do this. Little fact, he said, "I'm not a painter, I'm a sculptor." And the Pope said back in those days he was the ruler, so he said, "No, you will do this for us." And so he did it for the church. But when you look at this stuff, you think, how can somebody think that they weren't an artist or a painter? I mean, it's just spectacular. And then another fun fact is that he went to the morgue and would study cadavers to understand the body anatomy and to get all the way that, you know, a body should be shaped. So it's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. Now I ask you if you've been to the Sistine Chapel, so
yes, I
you have a greater appreciation of what we're seeing right now than somebody who's not been there, I would think.
Yeah, well, I felt the way that Martin Bialis felt as I went in, and you know, you're kind of pushed through, but nothing can take away the beauty of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. But I wanted to know more. I wanted to know, you know, well, who are the people, and I wanted to take pictures, and you can't. They'll take your camera away from you, or your phone. Oh. So, which nice is here, you can take as many pictures as you want.
And we will. Really cool. When you go up to and look at the different paintings, it's kind of blocked out what we're looking at and then the description, and that is so helpful. And that's what you wish you had when you toured, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And so it goes in great detail of what that person is and what Michelangelo was painting.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's simple.
And we also have a wonderful attraction here is the little theater that we have, and we have this comedian and an animated Michelangelo character, and it's hysterical, and they interact with each other, and but it gives you I don't know, a lot of facts and information, and sometimes that can be boring, but this is done in a fun way because the comedian is interacting with a Michelangelo character.
That's very good. What do you hope people take away from this?
I hope that they take away that, art, these kind of shows. I mean, I know there's so many wonderful things out there like Van Gogh, but this is just a typical art show where you go in and appreciate the pieces of art. And it's just, I hope that these kind of shows come back where people just love museum type feel of being able to enjoy the arts.
Is this something where every time that you go through this, you learn something new? Because I believe I would.
Yes, I have. I learned little facts. Another fact I learned at my last stop is on the Last Judgment, when you go down there, Michelangelo, he did a little Alfred Hitchcock where he put himself in the painting. There's over 400 characters in the Last Judgment, and he's one of them. And when you go down there, you'll see it's kind of a shrinking image, and it's a prophet holding on to him, and he's sinking down to hell, and the prophet is trying to take him to heaven because he always felt like he wasn't a good person, but he felt like maybe there was something redeeming about it, that because he did this for the church. I mean, this was 10 years of his life. Right. 5 years with the original 33 frescoes, and then for the Last Judgment, it took him another 5 years. So 10 years of his life giving to the church. So he felt like there was a redeeming quality that maybe he will get to go to heaven.
Well, I hope so. Again, it's remarkable how, I'm not sure my camera gives it the just of how beautiful it is in here.
Well, thank you. I know, it's breathtaking, and each time you look at it, you discover something new in each of the paintings. So
perfect. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. It opens today at Opry Mills. Check it out. It's really, really cool. All right, it's time to give everybody something to smile about. Brought to you by DeltaDentalTN.com.
Partners. When they first came in, one of the things we put in is, if you walk around the concourse, you'll see there's an area that's a Delta Dental Kids Zone, and that's been there pretty much since the Preds opened for business, and so that's one of the things. But if you look at in our case, how do we match up with charities that have value across the state? And then the other thing is how do we match up with partners that are true community partners? And if you look at what the Preds give back to the community
Right.
and the things they do for kids all over, how do you match up with a better partner than in the National League than the Preds? I mean, it's hard to beat them, really. And entertainment-wise, it's hard to beat them just showing up to the game. I mean, it's almost an assault on your senses. It's Vegas and everything else rolled into one with lights and cameras and everything going. So,
But you've got such a good partnership with them that when I think of the Preds, I almost think of Delta Dental because of everything you guys do with them.
yeah, we would love to know that that's what people think. If everybody walks through the door thinks, well, you know, who is their partner? The first partner I want to think of is Delta Dental. I got
Delta Dental. Thank you so much. Delta Dental of Tennessee now offering dental and vision plans for groups and individuals. Just learn more about that at deltadentaltn.com. We'll take a break. It's a huge night of high school football, and Main Street Prep's Tyler Palmatier is going to join us. And these guys and gals do a great job of covering high school athletics. And we'll talk to Tyler when we come back next. You're watching Mornings on Main Street.
Every year, it costs Tennessee more than $15 million to clean up roadside litter. It's time to keep your trash to yourself and our roadways clear, because nobody trashes Tennessee.
Is your roof in need of repairs? Maybe it's time for a full roof replacement. If so, choose Middle Tennessee's #1 rated roofer. Tim Leeper Roofing has provided the Nashville area with outstanding residential and commercial services for nearly 2 decades. And with hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tim Leeper Roofing has satisfied thousands of homeowners. To schedule a free and honest estimate, find us online at timleeperroofing.com.
All right, big night of high school football around Middle Tennessee, around the whole state of Tennessee, but we're hyper local. We're Middle Tennessee. Let's bring in Tyler Palmatier from Main Street Preps to talk about tonight's all the big games that are happening. Tyler, thanks, man, for getting up with us.
Hey, somebody's got to get me up. May as well be you. That's I have my Main Street Nashville coffee mug here, which was Dave so nicely distributed to us a few months ago.
I didn't get one of those.
You didn't join us. You hadn't joined us yet.
Oh, okay.
This was kind of a meet and greet. You know, the staff kind of expanded during a time when everybody was really remote. So we all got together in Madison and had a nice breakfast. We ought to do it again.
We should jot down. We need coffee cups. We got to get with this. All right, Tyler, high school first round of high school football. We know who's going to win 99% of the time. Now it starts getting a little dicey. Be some upsets tonight. What game are you covering?
I'll be at Nolensville at Page, which is as you know, Joe, the second round is a lot of times a region rematch. The way the playoff brackets are drawn up, I mean, provided both teams win to create that rematch. So this is one of those from earlier this season. It wasn't particularly close the first time, and I covered that one. But I think I was talking to somebody for a story yesterday that's kind of down the line, and we both kind of agreed all bets are kind of off in the second round. First round, like you said, it's a little bit chalk, but Nolensville quarterback Kobe Walden has almost thrown for 3,000 yards, and we're barely – in Nolensville, I think they started 1-5, and they kind of snuck into the playoffs. So nobody's really talked about them. And then Page quarterback Jake McNamara, of course, is committed to Colorado State and has thrown for over 2,000 yards, and he's really good too. So it's a great quarterback matchup. Jake McNamara's brother is Cade McNamara, the starting quarterback at Michigan, which is kind of interesting. So it's be a lot of offense tonight.
I didn't know that until I read your story a few weeks. I had no clue. Then I read your story. I'm like, yeah, be kidding me. So thank you for that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm still kind of new. I didn't learn about it until this, back in probably like July or August. That's pretty interesting. They're a great family. They love football. The other brother, Kyle's played at Lipscomb. He's a receiver at Western Kentucky. It's a great football family. Real nice people.
You know, what I like about that game you're covering tonight is that I love when they throw the ball in high schools. A lot of time we see, run 90% of the time, but when you got two passing offenses, that makes for a fun Friday night.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. And I mean, it's a lot later on when you're adding up the scoring summary or doing the box score or whatever. So that's maybe the only downside, but the game's a little bit longer. I don't know where I'm from. You remember when the spread really took off, everybody was running the spread in Oklahoma. I don't know if it was the proximity to, it was the Big 12 country probably. I mean, everybody, all the high schools started running the spread. And it's a little bit different brand of football in Tennessee, which I kind of like. I mean, I think it's a little more like the SEC or, maybe like the Big 10, a lot more run game, a lot more emphasis on defense. But you're right. This game tonight is totally different. And the receivers on both sides are really good. Chance Fitzgerald in Nolensville has an offer from Kentucky. Ben Coggin's a really good receiver. Page has a lot of weapons, and it's a fun brand of football. And Page, their whole community, they get really hyped for these games. I mean, the student section's awesome. I would expect Nolensville to bring a big crowd. It should be a pretty electric high school football atmosphere.
You have Page winning 42-35, and if that stands up, I mean, that's 77 points in a high school football game. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I think the first one was their first meeting was, I believe it was like 42-20 Page. And it was a shootout in the first half. I mean, things kind of slowed down at halftime. So these two teams can start to run with each other. It could definitely happen, but my picks aren't right too often. So if I picked it, I don't know. I don't know how good of a guy that is.
Down the road, Brentwood at Summit tonight. I know you got a chance to see Summit. I mean, the Wade twins and Coach Coleman at Summit. What a great program. And they seem like, Tyler, they're on a collision course with another team around here called the Oakland Patriots. Man, that'd be one heck of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off by saying I think Brentwood could give Summit a game, but I would not pick against Summit or Oakland at this point. They're really good. And Summit, of course, Oakland is – somebody's got to go take that crown from them, which won't be easy. But Summit seems like a team that could do it. They've got a special group, man. They the Wade twins are special. That's just something that that doesn't come along very often. Two brothers where they're just people kind of joke that there's two of them. They're the same player, and in so many ways they look alike. They're so talented. They are kind of like two players. Or the same player, but they're also what they do differently to complement each other is impressive, and that's what gives people problems. To be able to block for the other one, Keaton's able to block for Destin. Do I have that right?
Yes.
On those QB reads, and then Phil Stouter, he's a great photographer for us here at Main Street. He got a great picture when Summit really beat up on Ravenwood during the regular season. Keaton was running the ball, and he took a defender's helmet off in the process. And Phil got this great photo of Keaton just has this guy's helmet, like he looks like a true Spartan. They are the Spartans. He looks like a gladiator or something. And that really that's the story with the Wade twins, man. They just they are physical. They're playing a different brand of football than everybody else. So it does look like Oakland and Summit are on a collision course, and that'd be a great game. Oakland's played, Lipscomb and CPA. They played a tough schedule. They may as well play a team like Summit too, and see everybody. And boy, if they win and go undefeated, that's what a statement that would be if you're
absolutely
Oakland, if you can, yeah.
And they started their season on ESPN playing down in Mississippi and winning that. And here they are. Look, my problem with tonight, Tyler, is if I had to pick, I've got a game to go to because my son plays at DCA. So that's the question. But if I'm just a fan, I don't know where to go to tonight because you got your game. You got Gallatin and Hendersonville, Clarksville at Beach. I think Waverly at East Nashville tonight is a fantastic game. You guys cover all these games. You got to do predictions, but I wouldn't know where to go. But I really like this Waverly East Nashville game because I love the Waverly story. I'm fond of Metro teams. I love East Nashville. To me, that's a game I'd probably go tonight. But you can't go wrong tonight.
Yeah, you can't. And I mean, if you could kind of skate across the area and go to hit up a lot of different games, but I like that one that you mentioned. I mean, if you really are somebody in Nashville and you like to hit a high school football game, you have no ties, you just appreciate the sport or the pageantry, that's a good one. Because I mean, you could just pop over to 5 Points, get dinner, and go over to the game and kind of experience what Metro football is, which is, I mean, there's not a lot of flares to it. It's a lot different than going out to Williamson County. There's not a massive student section, there with, huge speakers, and it's just different. It is what it is. And of course, East Nashville football hasn't been back on campus for as long as some of these others. So it's a little different story there. They're still kind of rebuilding or building tradition, but that game could be really good. I think Waverly and East Nashville, and both programs have interesting stories. I mean, what Waverly's been through, has not played a home game. That I would guess the game at Dixon High School last week is probably about as close to home as they've been this season. Dixon hosted them in the playoffs since they were able to host a first round game, but don't have a place to play. So two really cool stories there. That's a game I would. If I was somebody who just went to high school football games, I'd swing over to 5 Points and grab some pizza and pop over to East Nashville and watch that. I think that could be a really good game. We'll see.
I agree with you. Hey, man, I know it's early. Thank you. Again, I think you all do a fantastic job. I spent 20 minutes on ESPN 102.5 yesterday touting what you guys do with a guy named Max Hers, who calls the Friday Night Lights games on MyTV 30. And he says he says his go-to every week is Main Street Preps because there's a recap of every game and there are stories. And that's a credit to Russell and Tyler, you and everybody with a great job. And, I love high school football, so I crave everything that you guys do. And it's just simply fantastic. So thank you for your dedication and just being an awesome writer for this. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, anytime. Everybody does a lot of hard work to put that in. So we're glad people are enjoying it, Joe. And you're doing some great stuff too. Thanks for having me on. And enjoy the DCA game tonight.
Will do.
It'll be fun.
Fingers crossed. I'm nervous, but we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk to you down the road.
Anytime. Thanks, Joe.
All right, Tyler Palmatier. I'm serious. Check out MainStreetPreps.com. They are simply fantastic in their coverage for high school, not football, but athletics. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the show with celebrity birthdays. That's next right here on Mornings on Main Street.
Following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Donaldson Hermitage Chamber of Commerce invites you to our second annual holiday market at the Mansion, presented by Gaylord Opryland's A Country Christmas at the historic Two Rivers Mansion on McGavick Pike in Donaldson. November 19th and 20th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can shop over 50 unique vendors. Get your gifts wrapped. Get a photo with Santa. Pick up some fabulous grub at the fantastic food trucks while listening to music. Oh, and you can pick out a Christmas tree. All before Black Friday and all while shopping local. Don't miss it.
All right, thank you, Tyler, for joining us this morning. Paul Mateer with what's happening in high school football tonight. All right, intern, come on in here, buddy.
Hello, hello.
A few things. You left out the Joe and the marquee today, but that's all right.
I know. After it was, I noticed it actually after you gave me all the praise, so I didn't want to.
So I'm gonna take a little bit of that praise back, if you don't mind.
Okay, we'll scale it back. That's fine.
Is it all right? All right, it's time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within 2. You ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Today is Neil Young, his birthday. How old is Neil Young?
84.
76. Megan Mullally. She was on Will and Grace. Mullally. How do you say her last name?
Let's do 48.
63. Man, you're off today. Ashley Williams.
Is she? Who's he? Who's she?
She says she is a sister of Kimberly Williams Paisley. I don't know what she's been in, but just take a guess.
Okay, we'll do 52.
43. Come on, man. All right, a guy that you think the world of, Ryan Gosling. How old is Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, he's a great actor. I mean, he is 41 today.
He is 41.
Is he really?
Get out of here. All right, let's ride this positive wave. Actress Anne Hathaway. How old is Anne Hathaway?
38.
39. Hey! All right, you're rolling. All right, playwright actor Wallace Shawn from The Princess Bride. He's the voice of Rex in Toy Story.
Ooh, let's do 64.
78. That's all right, though. Country singer Barbara Fairchild lives just down the road.
As usual, can you give me a little excerpt from one of her songs?
Don't go hurting my heart.
Beautiful. Let's do 71.
71 exactly.
No chance.
You're slowly redeeming yourself because you've gotten 2 that dead on.
I'd say rapidly.
All right, here's the last one for we got to get out of here. Al Michaels, sportscaster. How old is Al Michaels? Think about this for a second.
Okay. All right.
All right, time's up.
63.
77.
Oh, wow.
Come on, man.
Wow, he's still killing it. That's great.
Let me see one more if I recognize any of these names here. Here's one for Papa intern. Booker T of Booker T and the MGs. How old is Booker T?
I only know Booker T from WWE. Papa intern.
Different guy.
He says 83.
Ooh, 77. Not bad. But you got 2 dead on. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, man. I'm proud of myself, so I
All
appreciate
right.
that.
Have a good weekend, brother. I'll see you later on. All right, that's the intern. Again, thank you to Trent Deason from spreadthepositive.net for joining us. Tyler Palmatier from Main Street Preps for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the story about the new Italian restaurant opening in downtown Nashville. And, of course, the Sistine Chapel, the exhibit that's taking place at Opry Mills. Both those places were fantastic. And really thank you guys for letting me come in and stumble my way across and not break anything while I'm there. And we had a great time. All right, so it's the weekends here. Go out, have fun. Remember, let people in traffic, wave to people, smile to people, open doors. And I'll leave you with this. No one ever went broke by giving. Have a great weekend.